What up, YouTube? It's time for another chess video. It was a lovely day here in Florida. A little hot, but went to the beach with my ex-girlfriend, which was a little awkward because she's my ex-girlfriend and she's still pretty. Looks good in a swimsuit, but we had a good time. But enough about me. You didn't come here to hear about me and my life. Let's play some chess. So here we got Aru Lopez. David plays the Berlin defense. The most common move instead of knight f6 is a6. But knight f6 makes a lot of sense. It's just developing a piece. And why play a6? Sometimes white will take anyway. So, yeah, this is very popular. I think it was popularized by Kramnik, who Kasparov was unable to crack with this, if I recall correctly. Although Kasparov himself lost with the Berlin defense, I believe, to Judith Polgar, the strongest woman ever in chess. So we follow the main line, castles, black gobbles the pawn, rook e1 right away is also a move, but the main move is d4. Now the knight jumps back, getting a tempo on the bishop. The bishop takes the knight in order for white to win the pawn back and get the black king in the center. And this is an interesting, I'd say, dynamically equal position. You know, the computer would beat the top players with either side. So, yeah, we you know, there's a lot of arguments. Oh, computers are like Grandmaster Brian Smith, who I respect very much, but he's saying computers are making chess kind of boring. But I would say there's another argument. I mean, this is not just my opinion, but it resonates with me. In some ways, you could argue that actually computers are making chess more interesting because, yeah, you know, Capablanca was worried about draw death, and there is a lot of draws at the highest level. But the fact that computers are so good, and computers will not draw with grandmasters, the computer will beat even Carlsen easily with either side of this is, you know, it just shows there's always new stuff to be uncovered if you look deep enough. And yeah, the draw death is still a ways away. Maybe, who knows, maybe computers, who knows what the highest level of chess is. Maybe, is it 3,500? Is it 4,000? Like, who knows? Who knows whether, you know, the computers of 10 years from now will be able to beat Stockfish 8, like 100 out of 100. Anyway, let's go forward. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Who knows if humanity will even survive the next few decades. Now I'm getting a little depressing, but that's why we play chess, so we don't have to think about this. So, all right, here's now the smoke is cleared, we get to the main position, and actually, if you'll see that even the computer can't decide what's the best move. It keeps like, why does it keep making those arrows? It's creeping me out. Yeah, there's a ton of moves here. The main move by far is King E8, which seems crazy because you're losing time moving the king again when white is much better developed. But position is not really that open, and you do have the two bishops. And, you know, it protects this square. It gets the king out of the center where he might be checked anyway. But if you see the stats, it's kind of drawish. I mean, black has some advantage, but I think more important than memorizing the main line is just finding something that you feel comfortable with, finding a system, looking at a bunch of games within that system, and really understanding that. Because, yeah, all these moves are probably pretty equal objectively. So here David plays bishop e6, and this is not one of the main moves, but as you can see, the eval doesn't shift at all. So there's nothing wrong with this move. It's been played, looks like about 100 times, over 100 times. And bishop f4 has not been played at all. Knight g5 is the most common move. And yeah, we can add some. Let's add some games. Let's cite this game, or black one. I'm not going to look at that game. I will show you a little snippet of another game. Although the most interesting part to me was not the opening, but the late middle game in that. But we can go a little deeper here. So I guess this would be the problem with bishop e6 is that we are going to lose the bishop pair unless we move the bishop again. Main move is king e7 actually, and then yeah, knight e6 has only been played one time in black one. Let's throw that. Let's throw that into the mix too. We'll cite that game. Yeah, I guess the point is that black's king is coming closer to the center, and that's an advantage in the endgame. But most often, white has not done that. He's just brought his rook to the center. H6 forces the issue, and yeah, every single move in common. And here we have a deviation, f4, bishop f4. So, okay, black's lost the bishop pair, but he's centralized his king, which is pretty safe. Computer says it's dead equal. So, bishop e6 is not a bad move, but you do have to know the idea of king up and then taking the bishop, so that at least you're getting two tempi with your king for losing the bishop pair. But in the game, bishop f4 was played, and that's the end of the opening explorer, so I'll close that. And David played h6, and h6 is the computer's top choice. It makes a lot of sense. You're keeping pieces out of this square. Now your bishop is secure, secure here. White checks. King c8. King e8 is probably also okay, I'd imagine. But yeah, so far David's playing computer perfect chess with king c8. We can make a cozy little home, play b6, and we have a nice 4-pawn shelter for our king. Unlikely that sacrifices are going to be able to penetrate that, and we can focus on pushing our pawns and attacking white's king. So yeah, computer says black has a slight edge here. Here's the first mistake. So David plays bishop c5. So though, I mean, to me the whole point of h6, okay, maybe you could start a pawn storm on the king side, but the main point is you're preserving this really nice bishop here, which is eyeing up this part of the board, aka queen side, king side. Anyway, it's a great piece, and this knight could be kicked away, and actually was kicked away with g4 later in the game. If you wanted to secure this knight, you could play h5, but you didn't play h5, you played h6. And besides, this knight is central. This is a great knight, so you got to chop it off. Rook takes, and this move is tempting. Engine prefers b6, but yeah, we're going to tuck our king away. We have the bishop pair, and yeah, this is a nice game for black. This bishop is kind of stupid looking over here behind the pawn, which no one's even attacking, and yeah, slight advantage for black. But instead, David did not do that. He attacked the knight. So okay, I mean, on one level, this is a development, but you could do this anyway. You could get rid of the strong knight. Now develop. You just say he goes back, play b6. No, I didn't take a5 out. That move doesn't make sense to me, but b6 is probably also fine. I guess you have to worry a little about this, but about b4, I'd be more inclined to come here. And yeah, you could bring your king here, pose the rooks on the d file, maybe trade all the rooks, and you'll have the two bishops in the endgame, and it should be an advantage. But in the game, okay, we developed a piece, but we did lose the bishop pair, and now our pawns are further compromised. So yeah, this is not the best situation. So white comes forward, preparing to double, and yeah, g5 would be good here, according to the engine. Gaining some space, kicking this bishop, maybe having a bishop versus knight endgame. Bishop doesn't really have good squares. I assume here we're not going to take, we're going to keep pushing forward like this. Engine doesn't like that. Oh, because of the knight here and double attack. So always tactics. Always think about tactics. But yeah. just as a pose right now. Don't even worry about playing b6 anymore, just a pose right now. And if he doubles, I guess we trade. And one rook with no one supporting pressure on the square or this square, because it's not a big deal. Maybe we could even play a5, a4, a3, get the rook out this way. I'm not really sure. Huh. Oh, this is an interesting move. Threatening to take here, and then take here. And if we take here and rook takes, no, that doesn't work because the knight covers this square. Yeah, I don't know. We're getting a little far afield, but okay. Instead, b6 was played. Knight e4. Bishop goes back to e7. That's the most natural move. Rook d. Okay, now it's saying rook f8, but rook d8 is not a natural move, and it's not a good move. The engine just liked it for a second, but this also doesn't look good. We're really gonna get tripled pawns like this. How are we holding this together? Are there threats? Okay, we can get a discovery on the bishop, but what happens if he goes after this pawn? Oh, right, this square. That's the threat. We have so don't just think about discovered attacks on pieces, think about them on squares. So knight here is a discovered attack on this bishop and on this square. So rook c3 would be a mistake for white. So yeah, it's just a good idea to like, yeah, because computers are not thinking like this piece, this piece. Well, nobody knows what computers are thinking. They're not thinking in the conventional sense, but it's good when you're playing to think about squares and not just pieces. So again, discovered attack on this square would be a good thing if right here, and yeah, white has a big problem. This threat, can't make both of them. So okay, but rook f8 is a hard move to play. I mean, to allow triple pawns, probably most people are not going to want to do that, but I mean, it just goes to show why computers always kick our asses, because they're always counterattacking. Bishop e7, the rook's double, and here g5. Actually c5, c5. Why is the engine saying c5? Just saying this is not that big a deal. But David protected his king, and now the rook came in, and there's a threat here, g4, attacking this, the defender of this. And here, okay, black has a worse pawn structure, these double pawns and this isolated pawn. But this is a common motif when someone's all up in your grill. If you can trade all the rooks, you should be maybe not okay because of the worst structure, but you'll avoid the worst, and then the game goes on. So here white has nothing better than to just trade 2 times, and yeah, white has good pieces. Well, definitely this knight is great. Black's bishop, white's bishop probably about equal, although this pawn is on a dark square, but definitely white's pawn structure is much better. 3 and 3, infinite flexibility. So this was, you could say, a losing move here, c5, because now g4, and it's true that David gets come in d4 with a threat of his own to win the piece back, but in the meantime, even better than taking this pawn, white could double, and okay, material is, I believe, equal, but I mean, 2 rooks on the 7th, 2 rooks in the corner. It's not even close. Also, I'm on David's team here, but I'm still pointing out tactics from both sides because we might as well learn from both sides. White can also just take here. and take here. And yeah, this is very good for white. 2 pieces for the rook is good. Also, this pawn is indefensible because if the rook comes over to oppose, we have knight to d6, winning this rook. So yeah, and once the e-pawn drops, just playing some computer moves. Oh yeah, this was where I saw that, so better would be come to d8, but then this pawn drops. This is a pass pawn, and yeah, this pawn is weak, and the rooks are. It's a good position for the minor pieces. There's no open files, and white is a dominant position. So yeah, after here, once again, black had a chance to trade all the rooks. I mean, I guess white could do something else besides trade rooks, just make a random move, but black could force the issue here. Although now he doesn't even have to because this rook is not so well placed all by himself. He can gain time with the bishop, so he doesn't have time to hit our knight. So the bishop goes to d2. Yeah, now we can counterattack the rook. There's only one rook, so now the king can become active. So anyway, c5 was a big blunder. This was the game-losing move. g4, knight d4, takes the bishop, check, takes white's bishop. And yeah, David held on pretty good here. I mean, I would say the quality of this game versus the quality of a lot of his blitz games, it's not even close. Like, black played really well. Even in the opening where he didn't know what to do. I like this move. This is active. If takes, we can take here. Yeah, so a lot of good moves by David. Just losing the bishop pair was bad, and then c5 was just unfortunate, tactically bad. And now we have a rook in game. Let's see, was this where? Yeah, we have to come back and defend the c pawn. And now, was I hear that? Yeah, h5 here. Could have tempted. I mean, the position is losing for black, but after here, all of a sudden, its engine says it's equal. White has an extra pawn, but the rook is behind the pawn, and yeah, black should be able to hold this. Of course, after h5, white doesn't have to take, just a simple h3, and yeah, it's not much different. But that would have been an interesting try. a5, h4. Yeah, there's not really much to do for black. He's let's see, he's only one pawn down, but his pawn structure is worse. The king's position is worse. And yeah, this wasn't a good move because, well, it allows rook here and taking this pawn, and then yeah, black will have 2 connected pass pawns. So I don't know what the time situation was. Probably this is time pressure blunder. Yeah, and I don't know why white just didn't do this, but I mean it's hard to continue here. And then saying rook h8, I might play something like this, hoping h5, and then maybe this is okay, but it's really not okay. Yeah, I mean, okay, we can come over and hit these pawns, but he can just do this. Probably he can even take here and run these guys, and yeah, black's just fumbling around. He's out of ideas. So e5 was bad, but it doesn't matter really that much now. And yeah, this is a losing king and pawn endgame. d4 takes, and yeah, it's 3-1 over here. White's king's better, but yeah, cool game. I threw this all. I'm gonna link to this in the video description so you can check out the game for yourself. Look at all these side games. Before I go, I will show you something quickly. Okay, briefly, I'm going to run through this game between 2200 as white and a 2450 FIDE player as black in this opening. As you see, the moves are exactly the same so far. Here, h6 is played first, and then this move, this was the move that in the game David said, okay, and there are no Grandmaster games after this move. But sometimes you'll actually keep making moves, and you'll find that there are some GM games, except this was played before Bishop e6, and this is all as in David's game. David also went c8. I don't Was 94 played? I don't think 94 was played yet because David ended up playing here earlier, so he would have done that if the knight was here. So this game, I'm going to just gone through it rather quickly. Black's king gets shelter, g4, knight comes back, but he's going to get a good home here unless white wants to somehow commit with c4. I guess he never does get there. Black's using his rook, which is, quote, undeveloped, but it could get developed nicely on the, if you can attack the king. b3. I guess he wants to kick the bishop, but this is kind of slow. Yeah, around here it starts getting pretty interesting. So he takes the knight, pins this knight, attacks this twice. This is defended. Check. Yeah, just putting a lot of pressure here. Takes, and bang, wins the rook. And I'll just show the endgame just for the heck of it. Yeah, breaking up these pawns, making them easy to attack. This rook is immune from attack because it's a dark square bishop. And yep, white resigns here. So that's not a grandmaster game, but a master game. I don't know. Zhao Zhongyan might be a GM. I don't know, but yeah. Overall, it's a good game. Yeah, there was chesslecture.com, I believe, had some videos on the Berlin. David wanted me to make a video series myself. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I mean, I don't play e5, and this is a like really complex opening. As you can see, after here and here, there's like a ton of different replies by black, probably a ton of different replies by white. So I will try to find that video series. I may rejoin Chess Lecture as a subscriber, just download it. It's definitely a good site. I've gained a lot from watching those videos, and yeah, chess is cool. Thanks for watching.